Hello and welcome back to another Understand Your Buyer video. In this video, we're looking at legacy names. So what is it? Well, when a business name changes over time and it no longer reflects the nature of the actual business, it can have a detrimental impact. One of the examples in the UK is a company called Carphone Warehouse. When mobile phones first came out, they were known as car phones. It was a phone for your car. Carphone Warehouse came out to solve that need, and at the time they had a great name for what they do. It's the Carphone Warehouse. Makes a lot of sense. As times moved on and car phones are literally no longer a thing, they are just phones, the word car phone is irrelevant. And whilst currently it probably doesn't do them too much damage to have that in their name, over time it will become more and more obsolete and it could potentially be a barrier. It's a bit like Radio Shack in the UK. Radios aren't as big as they used to be, but the term for the company is still Radio Shack, so it could be a potential barrier. How does it work? Well, as humans, we have a need for congruency and are consistently guessing and filling in the gap. So if a name doesn't match what you do, or it's abstract, it can prove a real barrier for being seen as the ideal solution, being remembered, or being referred to. So I had a company that I worked with years ago, and they had the term building in their title, building, but they were actually an IT company, and lots of people confused them as a building company, not an IT company, and the building reference came from something years and years ago, which is you build certain parts of an IT system. But because they had a legacy name, it no longer served them, and it actually stopped them from doing business. So how can you use it? Well, if your business name doesn't reflect what you offer, if it's a legacy name, you can do a couple of things. You can rename the business. Of course you can. You can rename the business and pick a much more explicit, direct, to-the-point name. And like I say, at one point, Carphone Warehouse was the perfect name for that business. Now it's not as relevant. Or the second thing you can do is to choose a better domain name. So you can stay as whatever your business name is, but we'll promote a different domain name that is more relevant and buyers are going to understand it. The best example of a custom domain name in the UK is for a DIY chain called B&Q. So B&Q. Because there's no ampersand key on the keyboard, it's quite hard to know what their domain name is. So they trade under DIY.com. DIY.com, so it's obvious what they do and it's easy to recall, and it's the same principle here. If you've got a legacy name that no longer serves you, could we get a better domain name like DIY.com or whatever it happens to be that explains what you offer and allows buyers to connect with you? So that's legacy name. When the name of the business no longer reflects the nature of the business, it potentially creates a barrier. Well, that's it for another Understand Your Buyer video, and if you like this kind of stuff, then you'll definitely like the book, which you can buy at understandyourbuyer.com.